Join us now, David Ricks, Chairman and CEO of Eli Lilly. I know what you're going to probably tell us. That, okay, the stock's down, but it was a great quarter and things are going great. But David, just initially, do you think it has something to do with being priced for perfection, or is the Novo Nordisk news something that's on the horizon that concerns you?
Yeah, good morning, Joe. Great to be here. I mean, we had a great quarter. Of course, the expectations were also high, as Angelica just mentioned. I don't know of too many other companies our scale growing 45% year over year. That's pretty strong. And the net profit nearly doubling. So we're pleased with that performance. We're on track for our guide. We reaffirmed it today, despite lots of turbulence in the world and in the market. And if you're asking about the market news, there's been a couple things our main competitors announced this week. That's in the error bars of what we plan for. So not too concerned about it. I'm concerned for patients that might be pushed around from one drug to another because of a deal with a PBM. We prefer open access to medications and let the doctor and patient choose. But these things happen, and onward we go. What's driving the company and what's driving the category is innovation. That's what we invest in. As you may know, we announced our oral GLP-1 data a few weeks ago. We've got data coming at the end of the year for our triple-acting retatrutide. Much more to come, and the use case for these drugs is massive. Today, we probably have about 10 million Americans taking GLP-1s. The market opportunity is much, much larger than that, and we're not even talking about the rest of the world yet. So we see this as a kind of a big wave of innovation for many years to come, and Lilly's at the forefront of that. So it's a good day to buy Lilly if we're down.
The numbers are staggering in terms of year-over-year revenue gain and, as you mentioned, net profit. But what's the market penetration? I mean, how many years could you expect to have year-over-year growth like that, David?
Well, we would expect that for a while. I think as a category, and then of course we compete for share. By the way, on share in Q1, we're now getting close to 3/4 of the new patient starts in the weight loss category on Zepbound over our competitor. So people are choosing the better product. There's a dual-acting incretin, not single-acting. We have head-to-head data that shows you lose 50% more weight. And we're just getting started, as I mentioned, with oral, triple-acting, other combinations coming. I think this is a potentially long run. Probably the growth in volume, Joe, long-term is more ex-U.S. The U.S. has 100 million people who could use these drugs. Maybe we get some proportion of those who will use them long-term and their health will really benefit. But there's 10 times that many people outside the U.S. And we're just starting our launches. We just launched in China at the end of March. I went there for that. We launched in India at the end of March. So these are massive markets, lower prices, but huge populations that also need our solutions like Mounjaro and Zepbound.
Yeah, I asked Angelica which one is best, and she told me Zepbound, you lose more weight, and she looked right at me. And then actually kind of looked down at it was a little bit, did you notice?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't making any.
Are you going to talk about the pill? Are you going to talk about the pill?
We are. We're going to talk about the pill right now.
Angelica is going to.
Dave, nice to see you again.
Dave knows I want the pill.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Andrew wants the pill.
I do. I think we should all be on it. Dave knows. We've had this conversation before.
And Joe, you don't have to believe Angelica. You can just read the New England Journal of Medicine, which published the results of the head-to-head study between semaglutide and Zepbound.
So you're looking at me saying, okay.
Really
no,
quick.
it's your choice. Yeah.
What about the ticker? I didn't think people could see my. I'm going to slouch. Let me get down here like that. Okay, go ahead, Angela.
Well, on the pill, the expectation there, right, is that this will be a less expensive version, a way for people to get the pill, to get a weight loss drug. Should we expect that? Is that a fair assumption that this will be priced significantly less than what we see with Zepbound?
Well, of course, we haven't gotten into pricing yet. We want to see the full, profile of the medicine before we think about what the value is, and that's our primary way we price drugs, along with competition. Orforglipron is the name of the pill. We have one study out of 7. We'll get the rest of those before, really mid Q4, and then go off to the FDA and seek approval. Hopefully launch in the U.S., maybe late 26. So that's an exciting new development. Looks like a medicine. Our goal was to have a oral medicine that delivered basically a profile right on top of high-dose GLP-1. It's a single-acting GLP-1. It won't be as good as Zepbound. but it hopefully will be as good as products like our Trulicity or semaglutide. The big advantages, though, are we can produce it at very large scale, and these injectable systems are very difficult to scale. And because of that, we could reach more people, and pricing is one way to do that. But also in these markets like India, China, et cetera, that have 200 million people who could use them, there's just no way we can get there with injectables to satisfy those markets.
Is your expectation that patients would take the Zepbound or the injectable first to get to some kind of ideal weight or whatever,
state, yeah.
and then take the pill, or do you think that there's a massive market for people who are just going to start with the pill?
I think both, actually, Andrew. If you look at today, Zepbound in the U.S., the average body mass index is 37. What that means, I'm 6'1". That means I would weigh about 270 pounds if my BMI was 37. So that's like 100 pounds more than I weigh right now. So the single-acting GLP-1s aren't good enough. You lose like 15% of your body weight. If you're that overweight, you need to lose like 25, 30% of your body weight. Only injectables, multi-acting injectables, will do that today. And so either Zepbound or our next generation one, which will come toward the end of the year with our data. And then we are pursuing that strategy where we've got studies going where we switch people to a lower dose of the oral single-acting drug or orforglipron and see if they can keep the weight off. You know that if people lose all that weight rapidly and then go straight off the drug, many gain weight back because your body is trained to retain its body weight. It's genetically wired for that. So stepping down is a logical strategy. But there's also a lot of people who have elevated weight, but maybe not obese, or maybe they're what we call class 1 obesity. So they're maybe 30, 40 pounds overweight. And here, reaching the world with that, maybe at a lower price point, lower value point, is something that could be done with an oral. And that's an interesting proposition as well.